Hello and welcome to episode 87 of Thinking Outside the Pod. We'll be your host. My name is Jimmy.
And I'm Jason.
You know, that academic magazine Playboy started out as a
It's a nudie magazine.
yeah, with like nude pictures and stuff.
Well, you're just like drive by like a cop or something. You just roll down the window and flick them off like, I'm drunk. Come and get me.
But yeah, so the future is going to be a weird place. I don't know. Not all of it bad. All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Episode 87.
Yeah. Good Sunday.
Yes, we were recording this on Sunday. We're not streaming it this time because I didn't want to do it. And Jason said he didn't have his makeup on or something. I don't know.
Well, you know, I try my best to keep my home clean, but, you know, it's a little dank in here.
It's fine. You are the one that messes up the apartment more than anybody.
Absolute lie.
All right, well, we'll let the viewers decide on that. The people that are viewing the time bar on their podcast thing, their applications.
Yeah.
You don't do that when you listen to podcasts? Wow, weird.
I don't
You're
watch
a weird
the
person.
time bar.
What do you do?
Listen to it.
You just listen to the time bar?
No, I don't listen to the time bar. I just, turn it on and go about my day.
Wow, weirdo. All right. But anyway, I guess first things first, we'll go over some of the big news or interesting news of the past week. First thing that comes to mind, Playboy.
Yeah.
That whole thing. They decided on to no longer have nude photos in their magazines.
What a shame.
I mean, I guess good because they're changing with the times. I mean, that's... The internet has pretty much killed that industry.
Well, yeah, I
print
think,
industry.
I think that was one of the big reasons for it is like, well, you can just get all this stuff at the click of. They're like, you can get this stuff at the click of a button anyway.
Yeah, and the thing.
No one wants to pay for it.
The thing is I mean, it's kind of a jokey thing, but everyone says they read it for the articles. But it's true. The articles in Playboy there's like really good writers. Like you always hear like back like in the olden times, not really like years ago, you always hear like famous writers and famous interviews like in Playboy. So it's kind of weird because that's kind of like what they're known for.
Yeah, I agree with you on the articles thing. I mean, I've even heard they've done like a really good piece on don't take that any other way, but they did a really good piece on Jimmy Carter, way back when that was supposedly just, really, really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Really well done interview with him. So maybe it's just, I guess, for more, I guess it's less about the models now, more about the photographers and the writers of the magazine.
Yeah.
I think the photos are still going to be pretty racy, though, just not nude.
Fully nude, yeah, that's probably what it's going to be. And I don't think they'll fully ever live down that stigma of being like that type of magazine, because I guess maybe in the way future, but like if first thing anyone thinks about whenever people think about Playboy is
I think nudie magazine, big centerfold.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing. So
teenage boys in the 80s, with pinups.
Yeah, underneath their mattress and things, or like that kind of thing. Or the big joke around it is like people like whenever you find one, it's like, no, I only read it for the articles.
Yeah,
like that's the joke of it because no, you're not. You're looking at
you're doing other things. You're looking at other things.
Yeah, so that stigma is always going to be around, at least for the foreseeable future. I don't think I would ever see Playboy as respected, even though maybe it should with like how they're writing and stuff.
Well,
as like the whatever magazine.
I think any sort of smut entertainment magazine or website or whatever, if they tried to go,
fully mainstream.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if legit would be the right word, but
Mm-hmm.
if any of them tried to change how they do things, they'd still be like, oh, well, hey, look, Hustler or, whatever, they're now like a charity for a church. So like, well, they used to be like a big porn industry, right?
Yeah, like that stigma is hard to live down. But I mean, like now, like same thing with like actresses like Sasha Grey.
Uh-huh.
She's trying to break in the mainstream, and she's done films and stuff. And she was on Entourage playing herself. So I mean, that stigma is like, I don't know if it's even possible, like to go like from one side to the other side.
It must have been like an awkward first conversation. Like, hey, you want to come over and watch this movie starring Sasha Grey? It's like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, especially like if the title is kind of weird, like
you're sitting down with your parents and you guys happen to be watching that movie, and your dad or something's like, hey, she looks really familiar.
I know.
It's like, oh no.
Yeah, that's always funny. What was it? Yeah, that was like from an Entourage episode where Sasha Grey was in it, and they were in a meeting, her and the main character.
Was she like playing herself?
Yeah, she's playing herself.
Oh,
because
okay.
it's.
I thought
Entourage,
she was playing a character.
Well, I'm sure it was maybe like a caricature of herself, but she's playing herself.
Okay.
But in Entourage, the main character, the main guy, is dating her, and he's like kind of on like a downward spiral, and he's trying to get back up with drugs and stuff. And they go to this meeting for with Stan Lee, and Stan Lee like keeps saying, "Oh, she looks so familiar. Where have I seen you from?" And like the whole joke is like, yeah, she's done porn, so it's kind of like, oh no,
and
Stan Lee.
As soon as that comes out, you're like, never mind, you weren't who I thought you were.
Yeah, or
just like, let me backtrace this a little bit.
Yeah, it's like,
no,
never mind, I don't know who you are.
Don't know.
Nope.
Never seen you. Who are you?
Yeah.
How'd you get in here?
And I think that kind of happens in the episode where like the light bulb clicks and then Stanley's kind of silent or something like that. I don't remember, but
he just types her name in his like company computer. Is like, oh
no. Oh no. That's made that situation way more awkward than it was.
That's just bad news for any girl that's going to be named Sasha Grey. For like anyone who's named that.
Well,
and then,
yeah,
and then like, oh, let me look her up on Facebook. And then they see this. You know.
Well, any person, any people that are like, I know there's like, because I guess like, yeah, anytime you Google something and you find out like the person that you're searching like for,
like shares the name with like, a porn
exactly.
star or something.
That's always funny.
That sort of stigma.
Yeah, but
I hope the similarities don't end there.
Whoa. But yeah, the Playboy thing, it's signs of the times. Like they're like, no one, I mean, maybe older people maybe buy magazines.
Yeah, some geriatric perverts are just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, or
I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I mean, I don't know how much, people are really into sort of physical media like that anymore.
Yeah, it's a dying industry. That's why they have to change.
And I mean, if they came out and said, oh, well, on our website, we're no longer going to be showing any more nude content or anything like that, I think then people would be like, whoa, hey, hold on a second.
Yeah, that would be, well, I don't know. For sure the print, they're not going to do any photos. So I would think Playboy being what it is and like what it's become, I would think they'd have to, like their website would have to like stay the same kind of content. But I don't know. But then again, I don't see why. Like if they're still going to be a magazine and they're known for that, why? Like what's the reason? Like,
don't ask me. I've never been on their website.
They're like no, the web. I'm talking about the magazine. Like, what's the reason for this? Like, of course, like they don't need to do that, but it's not like because they don't have those photos, they're going to be like more academic. Like they'll be
like, are they gonna like be producing like medical journals?
Yeah, like they're like just because of that stigma is still gonna be there.
No, I mean it's not the pop icon that it was.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna try to bring that bring that back. Well, high profile interviews. Maybe you'll see in a few months like Neil deGrasse Tyson gets an interview in Playboy magazine.
Well, they do celebrities all the time, like interviews and stuff. So
do they?
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if they. Well, I mean, you always hear about it. I would be surprised if he hasn't.
Yeah.
Like all the like pop icons, I would assume they've done.
I mean, are they trying to say that the nude photography diminishes like what might be good writing in there?
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Are they trying to like appeal to a more intellectual crowd?
I'm thinking that's the case. But
I mean, for that, shit, you can just go buy Maxim magazine, and that's basically what it sounds like it's going to be.
Going to become. Yeah, that's. I'm just saying they can't live down that stigma, so why change it? Like, and the stigma is not like
the only way to live it down is to start.
Changing
is to start changing. That's the only way they're ever gonna.
Yeah,
in 100 years, if they're still around, maybe people won't remember.
Like, or that would be like one of those interesting factoids. Like, that academic magazine Playboy started out as it's a
nudie magazine.
With like nude pictures and stuff on it.
It's like the kids that are born now, when this is happening, won't know it as anything other than something with interviews with celebrities and
in-depth
with some racy
articles and stuff,
with some racy photos in it.
As just like a men's magazine and not a nudie magazine.
Yeah, which I gotta wonder: is it now okay to read those in public?
See,
can I walk into my local Starbucks with the Playboy and be like, it's no nudes. I'm
guessing it's probably gonna come to that, but I don't think right now. Like it'd be way in the future when that's possible. Like if there's like a Back to the Future thing now, and we go to the future, and like Marty McFly goes into like a diner, and like he sees like these Playboy, he'll be like, oh, like that would be the joke now. But they'll be like, what are you talking about? This is a very intellectual, academic minded magazine. And he's like, oh, okay.
So so going to sit and like get lunch at McDonald's or something and sitting in like the kids play area and reading a Playboy is just probably not acceptable at this point.
Not at this moment. Not like the week they announced it.
God, society, just quit changing the rule. Just
make your mind up about one thing and keep it.
Yeah, I just want to read my magazine anywhere I would like.
Well, that's the joke I read about it. It's like I'm surprised that Playboy's doing this now because everyone I've talked to only reads it for the articles anyway.
Yeah,
like that's like the joke about it. But yeah, so I don't know.
Well, it isn't going to influence whether I buy it or not because I don't buy it anyway.
Magazine, yeah.
The only magazine I get here is like a Game Informer.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they start, putting nudes in there, which
what if like other
sending
like other magazines like decide to go the opposite way? It's like we're tired of doing articles and stories and stuff. We're gonna do
just start posting nude
photos.
Yeah, of all of our editors.
And Playboy's like crap. Like, and then the print porn industry goes way up, and then Playboy's like, dang it.
No, print porn I think has really just been dying since the internet.
Yeah, it's kind of like a joke nowadays. It's like
radio killed the video star, internet killed the porn star,
porn magazine
or something. I don't know.
The centerfold.
Wait for my parody.
Yeah, so good, but also it's not going to change much like now. Like
no,
Playboy's still going to be the same.
It'll take I would guess it would take a few years before the full impact of this is really felt. And whether other magazines will follow suit
do you think it'll kill Playboy? Do you think they'll survive it?
I think they get too much money from their website and everything else that they own for it to really hurt them.
Kill the print edition. Like you always hear like Life magazine recently, well not recently, but they had to close their print edition because it was online was where it's at. Do you think?
I don't think it'll happen anytime soon.
Is it? Yeah. Well, no, I agree.
I would say maybe this might be a bit bold to say, but I'd say maybe within the next 5 years, print edition of Playboy will go out of circulation.
And I think it's coming anyway. I think print itself, like physical forms, maybe like it'll become like the way of like vinyl in the future. Like,
hey, look, I've got this newspaper from this
it'll
day in particular that
it'll
nothing
be
special happened.
it'll be hipsters. Like it'll be kind of like gone the way of hipsters. It'll be like everyone will have like a tablet or something like that, or be able to read it on their glasses or whatever, something like that. That'll be the way of the thing. And then like it'll be novelty if like something comes out with like a print edition. Like it'll be just like a one-off thing, just like bands nowadays release their stuff online, but then sometimes they have like a vinyl or CDs. I guess CDs are still kind of there.
I haven't fully because I mean I read a lot of books, and I mean I haven't fully hopped on the digital thing yet. You know, I enjoy a good hardcover book and all, but maybe it will come to that where it's like, oh well, they're releasing that on digitally at this day. Oh, but they're also releasing special edition hardcovers and paperbacks.
Yeah, I think that's gonna
an excessive amount of money.
Like default will become digital, just default, and the majority of all publications will all be online, and then you'll be able to either buy it for a premium.
Yeah,
or it'll be a novelty.
Print's going to become a premium once it's no longer in circulation.
Yeah, I think right now, because I do have a tablet, and I would be able to read an ebook off of that. Like I wouldn't be able to read it off my phone yet. Like the screen is too small for that, and I've tried, and it's just not. I don't get into the book because the screen's too small. But like tablets, like the iPads and all that kind of stuff, that's where. When those become way more mainstream, and they kind of are getting there, but not to the point where everyone has it. I think like the old generation needs to, like our generation, like the millennials, need to grow up, and I think the next generation after us, the next generation after us is where the ebooks and tablets are gonna thrive. That's where, because all the kids, like all the babies these days,
I mean,
have grown up with current technology.
My 5-year-old niece knows how to use like a damn tablet and telephone, like smartphone, without like almost any help with doing it.
Yeah.
Like shit, I didn't know how to do. Like I barely knew how to use like a Nintendo 64 when I was that young, and she's over here like taking pictures and doing all this crazy stuff, and I was like,
so
geez,
man. I think that's the generation that. Like digital publications are going to thrive, and it's going to become the norm for that to be around.
And that'll be great for school will eventually say, eventually maybe school like high school. I know certain high schools have it now, like privatized high schools, where tablets and things like that will become either required, like material to purchase, or they will be provided by the school, and they'll say, all right, well, all your textbooks are going to be in this tablet.
Yeah.
And I've done that I did that for college. That I had a Kindle, and I put my textbooks on my Kindle.
Yeah.
Super useful.
Yeah.
Not having to look around, not to mention, get it discounted or free.
What? What was that? Nothing?
Super, especially when it came to like math and philosophy books that are just, weigh 10,000 pounds on your back.
That was always the worst, having to take lug books, and like you always like would like celebrate when the teacher's like, next class you don't need to bring your book, we'll be doing such and such something else, and you're like, yes, I don't have to carry that book.
I wonder if I'm in a few years I'm just going to be so bitter towards the people that come after us, be like, you guys are so freaking lucky.
Yeah,
like you'll all of this cool stuff, and
like backpacks. There'll be no need for backpacks. Like it'll just be like everyone would just have a tablet, like, and that would be like what they have to carry around.
Like they'll just put it under the guise of environmentalism, like no pen and paper. You'll type everything will be typed, and
I mean that's gonna.
That and I mean there's gonna be holdouts. There's gonna be some professors like no tech. Like we want you to write this.
I mean
out.
it's gonna be hard because I mean cheating wise that might be kind of difficult. Because that's always the thing. Like whenever we were growing up, like the TI-82. Calculators, all the teachers like during the math class says like no calculators, because like those you can actually store information, and you can have like things like that in it. So it was like you had to do it without calculators, but in the future when like technology's way different.
Yeah,
who
I mean,
knows?
yeah. By the time my nieces and nephews go to college, they're gonna have, go to college, and they're gonna have such advantages as far as the kind of tech they'll be able to use. I mean, and just for the convenience of not having to carry so much stuff or never having to like ever be afraid of losing their work. Outside of like a physical copy. I mean, yeah, your data can get your stuff can get lost. Trust me, those are dark times when you forget to save your work.
Ugh, yeah.
But I mean, even that's not really a thing anymore because almost everything auto saves.
Yeah,
every 30 seconds by itself or something.
Yeah, so and in the future that stuff will get better.
So I guess I will be bitter.
Yeah. Well, no, of course.
I foresee that I'm just going to be a bitter person.
Every older generation is bitter of the younger generation, and just how our older generation nowadays is bitter about us, and they are. I hate it so much. I've said this before that like the older people are just constantly berating the younger generation, like, yeah, you guys are too soft, blah blah blah. But that's like the exact same things their parents said to them.
Yeah,
like it's no different. And
it's like, oh, you go to the store and buy your meat. Well, I had to hunt for my meat when I was your age. It's like,
and like
no.
the generation before them were like, well, yeah, I mean, maybe
the generation before them was like, we ate each other.
Yeah, it's like hunting. You had weapons.
We used our bare hands.
Yeah, we would have been so happy. Like it's always going to be like that. You always try to. That's like the biggest thing. You try to make the next generation's lives easier. That's like your job as a human to make it better for the next successive generation.
And I mean, I there are some things that I'm like, oh, I understand. Like people become too reliant on the tech.
Yeah.
And I at a certain point I kind of get that. I mean, yeah, I have a bunch of just as something as far as like phones go. I mean, there was a time like I didn't have a cell phone until I was like almost 20 years old. And I had to remember all the phone numbers.
Yeah.
And that's something you never have to remember a phone number anymore. You just put it in your phone.
Yeah. Well, no one remembers phone numbers these days, like except for like their parents and like this one person that they call all the time. That's all you like.
I mean, back in the 80s and 70s, it was just like, oh, better go grab the phone number. I hope I remember that right, or hope I wrote it down.
Or like even when I was younger, like calling friends, like I just knew their phone numbers. Like I could have rattled off like my 5 best friends' phone numbers just right.
What's my phone number, Jimmy?
I wouldn't know. Oh, I kind of know a bit.
Gotcha.
I kind of know a bit because we use it for something else, but but I wouldn't know it.
Gotcha.
No, what's my phone number?
You really want me to say it?
Well,
I know it.
You can cough out. I could have said, yeah, I know it, but I'm not going to say it in the podcast.
I know it,
but
I'm just not going to say it.
Well, that's fine. I don't remember phone numbers anymore. I don't need to. I have them all on my phone, and they're backed up on my phone's account. So unless like Google is destroyed, then my phone numbers are going to be safe.
The Google servers just have a massive meltdown.
Yeah, which I mean, possible. Why not? Even though I bet it's would be really difficult. Like I'm sure like they have information stored at like several places.
But yeah, I mean, I know my parents' cell phone. I know my parents' home phone number.
Yeah, those are the numbers. The 2 numbers that I know.
I know like a handful of friends' phone numbers by heart.
I think I know my.
But I mean,
Job's phone number. That's about it.
I change my phone number pretty regularly, though.
Oh, yeah.
I've changed it probably like 3 times in the past year.
Oh wow, I've had the same cell phone number since I got it. Like, that's.
I mean, well, that's just because switching carriers.
I've had the same. Yeah, I don't change just because I mean I know my phone number, and if I got a new phone number, it would take me a little bit to learn it, but I would get it. But yeah, I don't think it's yes, of course I think it's a bad thing, like reliance on technology, but fine. That's every generation has a reliance on technology.
Well, I mean, we kind of talked about this before with the like virtual tech and augmented reality and virtual reality and all that stuff. And we kind of had said the whole thing about moderation is key and all that. Well, at some point, you're going to rely too much on your virtual reality
and
not
but
live in
what's
the
wrong
real
with that?
world.
What's wrong with that?
What? It's the real world. We were talking about this just before the show started.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to live in the real world a bit.
But why? What's
not?
what's out there that's so good?
What's in virtual reality that isn't fake?
Well, it's all fake. That's fine. Everything out there is fake too. People are fake. People are the fakest things in the world.
Going and sitting by the Grand Canyon and staring down into its majesty isn't fake. That's real.
But
that's a real moment.
What if virtual reality can get that good or better? Like what if
get better than real?
Yeah.
There's nothing better than real.
Sunburn. That's really bad. If I could,
it's not really bad.
If I can enjoy the Grand Canyon in all its majesty, in crazy high definition. I know technology is not there yet, but when it does, and not have to worry about pickpocketers that go.
How many pickpocketers are at the Grand Canyon?
Tourist destinations are crazy for pickpocketers and scammers and things like that. Without having to worry about that, without having to worry about bugs, without having wild animals, rattlesnakes, sunburn.
That's when you grab
crowds,
the pickpocketer and throw him in the canyon.
But you can do that without all the bad stuff that goes along with that. Like I can do that in the virtual world.
I just fundamentally disagree. There's certain things that have to be experienced in the real world.
I know, but what?
Like for instance, you have you have adrenaline junkies that do like the rock climbing and where they put on the squirrel suits and do that sort of thing.
The danger.
They would not get that same sort of the rush from it.
The danger of real world is something you can't fake, really. I mean, possibly if it's with brain implants and stuff like that can copy those kind of electrical impulses and stuff like that. Possibly, but still, that you're sitting in your room or you're sitting in a pod or you're whatever it is. You're in a machine.
That you're safe.
Yeah. I mean, even though all the physical impulses are the same, there'll still be something in the back of your mind that says that I'm not going to die from falling off this. If my parachute doesn't open, I'm not going to die.
Yeah.
I'll just reset the level.
It's like playing a scary video game right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can be scared shitless.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time you're like, no, it's not a real fear because I can shut this off at any time. And it's over.
But for other than things like that, there's no I think the virtual world, other than the actual physical exercise that you get from actually experiencing the real world, that's the only thing, the downfall I see of that. We'll become like Wall-E populations. Our bodies will degrade because we don't have that exercise. Other than exercising, if we have an exercise app or something like that where you can run on a treadmill and it looks like you're running in the real world. Things that's the only downfall I see of the virtual reality world. Body, the physical manifestations. But I think everything mental you can get out there, other than the danger, the fact that you could die, it can be done in the virtual world.
I think there's just something inherent about really being somewhere as opposed to not being. Because don't you think that would the same sort of sensation that you'd get from the lack of adrenaline or danger because in the back of your head that you're safe? Don't you think that you would lose something if you're standing on top of Mount Everest? I mean, obviously, in real life, that's extremely dangerous, and you shouldn't go up there unless you're highly trained and have lots of people with you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think there's something intuitive about being a human where there...
the glory of it.
Well,
is that what you're talking about?
Not so much the glory. It's just you're in a pod or whatever, and you're seeing this. You're seeing it. You're feeling it in your head, but you know that it's not real.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to describe that there's something intuitive that that it doesn't feel as good as the real thing.
I see what you're saying, but I think the thing about that is if you had a chance, like if you were highly trained and everything, you're gonna go to Mount Everest anyway. But like me or you or the majority of the people on Earth are never gonna get to the top of Mount Everest. So what if you had an app that could recreate like even like the coldness that you feel, like maybe not to the extent of that, but like in your brain, like all that's simulated.
Then I still think that's fine. But if you were
We're comparing the two.
If someone compared you to a person that actually done it, I don't think you could ever hold a candle to that actual experience.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like for everyday life, simulated world would be fine. Like I don't see why people think it's such a bad thing to live your life in a virtual world. I think it's fine. Right now, no, it'd be dumb. It'd be polygons and bad graphics and stuff. But in the future, when it's possible for that, because it's coming. Like you always hear breakthroughs of virtual reality all the time.
Like I said, it's something that's kind of I'll have to think about it some more. But I think there's just something inherently, just that human feeling that you would lose.
Yeah, it's possible.
There's that. It's just a weird little twinge, that.
It's possible that my misanthrope personality, where I just don't like going places, is informing my decision.
Yeah, so why would you care about virtual reality anyway? It's not like you'd go anywhere in that virtual reality world.
Like a virtual world, I would go places. Like because it has to do with a bunch of things why I don't like going places. Like just like my social awkwardness is the biggest thing. So because I don't feel, I don't know, the thing is maybe I wouldn't go places, but I would still do things. Like if there was an app that said I could climb Mount Everest or go skydiving or something like that, I would do it online. I would do that virtually. I would never do that in real life. Like that's something I would never go skydiving or go climb Mount Everest or go swimming with sharks and stuff like that. But virtually, I would do things. I would be much more social virtually than how I am in real life. But I don't know. It's technology's got to go way farther than it is right now.
I mean, it eventually just comes like I said, it's there. There's something inherently about being a human, about being the human experience, so to speak. That there's something that I think once virtual reality reaches the point of, I guess, the point of no return.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that will lose that.
The other thing
and then
is
become like the Matrix, where
we
will have to, like, it will take people to start realizing there's something not right.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't tell that there's something not right, but because something's wrong
because they don't know it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We've lived in a world where interaction with humans is necessary for life. Like there's no like nowadays you couldn't live without human interaction at some level because technology is not there. But once it gets to the point with the Matrix, like if the Matrix technology existed, maybe it does.
We might be living in it right now.
Could be right now.
Yeah, they're probably going to pull the plug. They're probably going to pull the plug on us right now.
They're getting too close to the truth, even though they made a movie about it. But it's not us that'll be living that life. I don't think it's generations down the line.
That's
like the big
many. That's by the time they come out with that, I'm sure I'll be on my deathbed.
Yeah, we'll get glimpses of stuff like that, but we won't ever experience. Because I mean, virtual reality is just in its infancy right now. Like the biggest virtual reality thing is just. It's not even released yet. Oculus Rift is not even released yet. You're seeing like small things, like you can buy that one thing and you can watch Netflix in a virtual thing, but that's really about it these days. Like there's not much. So that's like I said, that's a conversation for way in the future that people comparing virtual reality worlds with real world.
Well, maybe not. I mean, a Kepler satellite caught images of a very how could I put this, very oddly behaving star, that there is something orbiting
star.
Star.
Whenever you first told me this story, I was like, No, nothing can survive. Because I thought you were saying there was something on a star.
Oh,
like,
no.
Like something orbiting is like something
you know, if there was something on, like,
'cause-
living on the star, I think we should be a lot more worried than
I was
be like, oh.
Because you said megastructure, and I was just like a structure on a sun. No, wrong. Stop reading that article. It's obviously fake.
Hey,
That's
you don't know that.
I guess not, but I do kind of know that because
Hey,
stars are crazy hot.
Yeah, you don't know that, man. There's crazy,
But there could be some
crazy alien tech.
like some element that can just that doesn't react to heat. Yes, it's possible. Like some
Well,
that, but
the story
something
goes is
orbiting
that
it. There's
there's something
different.
orbiting the star that's not a planet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's kind of odd that the first speculation is that it's some sort of like a structure, and obviously not a man-made structure, but that's some sort of alien superstructure, and that's siphoning power from the star.
Yeah, which I mean, if that's kind of been like a common science fiction thing, like those what are they called? Like not buckyballs. Or like the geodesic domes, like Epcot.
Yeah.
Like there's this one science fiction author, I can't remember his name, but he wrote a series of books where they like built one of those around the sun, like a distant star, not maybe like their main star or whatever the story was, but they built one of those and just to collect the energy from it, all the heat and light and solar power from it. That's kind of their thing. So I mean, it's not far fetched. It's like they're essentially stars are just releasing energy.
Yeah, giant powerhouses.
Yeah. So like, yes, we need to harness it. Like, I mean, we harness the sun's energy from Earth with solar stuff. So, but
I just find it strange that that's the first conclusion they jump to is like maybe it's an alien superstructure. Well, in the realm of possibility, who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
I mean, it could be anything, but if it's not anything that they've seen before, because they've seen what asteroids look like, and they've seen what planets look like, and they've seen meteors and stuff like that. If it's none of those things, like I guess the next any what's that?
Nothing
quote?
sort of nothing organic.
Yeah.
That they know of.
Yeah, exactly. And that quote is like anything too far advanced is magic or something like that. Indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah. Any new technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah,
I've heard that before, but I can't.
I don't know who said it or whatnot, but it's like that. It's like anything that they can't explain, they have to explain using far like fantasy things and things like that. They have to make up something that would make sense. So, I mean, but I mean, what else could it be? I mean, it could be just something we haven't seen before. Some type of meteor.
I mean, it could be some kind of comet trails or like something that breaks off of comets or asteroids that have clustered together.
Yeah,
but the reason why is that I mean as it moves around the star, because I mean it blocks light. That's how they could tell that the amount of light from that star changes every so often.
Yeah,
and that's how they could tell. But it was never the same like pattern going around. So
yeah,
so I don't know what
a planet would be fairly regular.
Yeah,
its shape or whatever. So the amount of light it blocks would be.
I mean, and the only thing I could ever think of from as far as science fiction was in the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. In the first game, there was a ship called the Starforge, but that hovered over the star and siphoned power from the top.
Yeah,
but I mean, still, it sort of. I mean, that tech is going to probably develop right alongside virtual reality tech.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the event that we do meet with a civilization that can harness star power that efficiently, I'm sure their entertainment venues are much more advanced than ours.
Yeah, I mean,
what if they came here and they just have no thought process for entertainment?
Yeah,
they don't know what it is. What's baseball? Why do you people come here and watch this?
Well, that's like Star Trek. Like I'm sure there's been an episode where Like they meet an alien race that has no
concept of entertainment.
Yeah, no concept of fun or joy or something like that. I'm sure there's, if there hasn't, then Star Wars or Star Trek has failed. I mean, that seems kind of like a good story to explore.
Spock has no feelings, so technically he has no concept of fun or joy.
Well, he has no emotion. So yeah, but I do remember a Star Trek episode where he played music.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I'm sure they have.
I also get the feeling that he wasn't the ideal Vulcan either.
Yeah, he is half Vulcan, half human. But I think even without emotions, they can understand beauty. I think that's possible. Like they do love, but not in the way that like humans like irrationally attach it to emotions or something like that. It's weird how Vulcans work. I think I watch Star Trek and I like Star Trek, but I don't go way into their lore and all their stuff. But I think they can see like the beauty and symmetry of things and music and art and stuff, or the skill attached with that kind of stuff.
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to see what if anything ever comes of this.
Yeah.
It'd be really worrying if they were like, and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
What? Yeah, that thing that was orbiting that star, it's gone.
Yeah.
We don't know where it went.
Uh-oh.
That star is also dead.
Yeah, and it seems to be something coming towards us.
Yeah,
towards our sun. Oh no.
There's no such thing as aliens, though.
No. Yeah, I mean the universe is huge.
Yeah, that's a bit of an understatement.
It's unfathomably huge. Like your mind can't comprehend like how big it is. Like even our solar system is huge. They did that one thing in the desert where they made like an actual scale version of our solar system. Using like marbles and stuff. Like if the Earth was a marble, like what would everything else be? And they had to drive like 3 miles out from like where Earth is to get like where the Jupiter would be, or something like some like crazy distances. And so it's like even that is way bigger than we can even imagine, because like a light year is ridiculous.
Well, what's the moon, like 19 million miles away or something?
Something crazy, yeah, something like that.
Like the closest thing to us in astronomy is still 19 million miles away. Driving down here to Texas from Illinois, I had to drive 1,000 miles. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, God, that was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, imagine multiplying that by like what would it be, like another 1,000, like
190,000.
Yeah, that's so yeah. So I mean, it's incredibly big. So it's you always hear that it'd be very arrogant to think we're the only life in it. And
yeah, I mean, even if you don't want to go as far as to say, oh, we're the only intelligent. I mean, yeah, but they're still like, even if it's like, hell, I mean, they even might find some on Mars with the water and everything. There might be like microscopic bacteria.
Yeah, and
technically that's life. So in your face.
Yeah. So no, there definitely is life out there somewhere. We haven't found it yet, but we only inhabit a very, very small part of our solar system, our galaxy, our universe. It's,
and I think we'll be very old men by the time like virtual reality comes around to where it's like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll be very, 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 very dead by the time they come up with an efficient way of space travel.
Yeah, I mean, I think colonization of Mars will happen in our lifetime. I think that's. I mean, it's not close, but I don't think it's that far away from us. Maybe not colonizing in a way like Pluto Nash. Mm-hmm. I think, or maybe that was the moon on Pluto Nash. But at least people surviving on Mars, astronauts, like The Martian, that movie that just came out. I think that like manned missions to Mars are definitely within our lifetime.
That's definitely the next step.
And especially
they're going to have to trace the water back to wherever it's coming from.
Yeah, especially if there's some type of liquid water on Mars that they can harvest or filter or whatever, that's going to be a huge burst, because that means we don't have to take stuff in there or try to terraform it, even though we can't do that yet. But that's a science fiction thing that any planet, any intergalactic or any space agency has to do, terraforming. But things like that is possible and fairly close to us. Colonizing where people actually live there, that's I would think is kind of far away, like on Mars. But I don't think we'd be able to ever get, like in our lifetimes, we would never get to another Earth-like planet, like this, because they found a bunch of Earth, like Earth 2.0. Or,
yeah, but they're they're really far away.
Yeah, so I don't think in our lifetimes we would ever have the means to travel to those things.
We'll have to, like, we both get like some disease and like the only cure is on Earth too. Like, we better go.
Yeah, all right. How far away is it?
Whatever very exclusive and arbitrary disease, like the only source of the cure is Earth too.
Yeah, and I think even like we can like send stuff out there, but
it still takes years for it to come back.
Well, yeah, because it's like Earth 2 is like light years away, and that's like a light year is a ridiculously long distance. So we would never, like, it'd be very difficult. Like, we would have to, like, what was that movie, or what was that show, Ascension? It was a sci-fi show where they sent like a whole human colony into space, and the thing is,
good luck.
Like, well, you'd have to like, it would be successive generations that would be the pilots. Like, one generation will die and it's still on its journey, and like their kids would be the ones that drive it, and their kids would be the people that would land on that planet. Like that, like long travel, I guess, would be possible. Not now, because we can't do it.
No way to like sustain themselves as far as like fuel and.
Well, it would be some future technology.
And,
It'd be some future technology, and they would have to grow their own food or something like that,
or consume the flesh of the older generation.
Older generation, yeah, exactly. So like things like that are possible. But, like having like
it also
one
sounds
person,
like a lot of incest on this spaceship.
Well, I mean, on Ascension, like that show Ascension, it was a large group of people.
Oh, okay. Like that doesn't sound great.
Yeah, like it wouldn't, like we wouldn't send like a group of 5 people up there and be like, all right, so like we wouldn't even want to know what their whenever they land on the planet, it would be like people that are so like incestuously made, like genetically so deformed and mutated.
Yeah.
Like
that's exactly what kind of message we want to be sending to the universe.
What if this might have already been made into a science fiction story, but what if like aliens are actually like that? Like the reason why they look so weird to us,
it's because they're all just inbred.
It's because they're inbred. Like they started out looking normal, but like because like space travel takes so long, they breed
like
during
they just didn't
flight.
Send enough people, or something happened, so they
like they're like half the population of the or like 3/4 of the population of the ship died, so they only have that 1/4 to reproduce with, and like they come out looking like gray blobs with large heads and stuff like that. Like that's like, oh no.
I don't even want to. That's pretty messed up, man.
I mean, but who knows? That'd be a fun story to write, a little short story like that. It's like, we used to look like you, but
but let me tell you what happened.
Things have, like, meet my sister aunt. Oh gosh! All right.
What was she first, the sister or the aunt?
I don't quite know.
Oh, man.
I think she was my daughter first. Oh gosh,
it was awful.
All right, but yeah. So, but as I was saying, I don't think it's like in our even close to our lifetime, it's ever going to be one person
unless like
traveling to a like Earth 2.
Not for us anyway, unless we're like openly visited.
Mm-hmm.
In our
and
lifetime,
we get new technology.
Yeah, unless we're openly visited, nothing
Or I mean, the only thing like possibly is like wormholes.
Yeah.
Like folding
interstellar wormhole.
Yeah, like folding space time onto itself. That'll allow us to travel to, like, if we ever discover a stable wormhole. Yeah,
that's the new telescope they're shooting out.
Discover. They just make up words like we could just use another word. It's like, no, we're using discover.
We're calling it the Hubble telescope. Hubble? What the hell is wrong with you?
but like with a stable wormhole, if we ever find one of those, like that would be possible to get to far reaches of the, like with a spaceship. The only thing that I can see possibly is the having like inbred travelers thing. So I don't know. Who knows? Let's see. We're going on about 50. I guess real quick, I want to talk about. There was a story about a woman who periscoped her driving drunk from wherever she was, a bar.
Real smart lady.
We were talking about this, and I think you think it's obviously bad.
Well, I'm glad she got caught, but God, she is just so stupid.
Yes.
You're giving us regular drunk drivers a bad name. We aren't all that dumb.
She is stupid, but it led to her getting caught without hurting anybody. Like if you were going to drive drunk, I would pray that you informed the public. That's good that she did. Like, it's dumb that she drunk.
You just
drive.
like drive by like a cop or something. You just roll down the window and flick them off. Like, yeah. I'm drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Come and get me.
Yeah, and then they would get caught and put in jail and rehabilitated or not rehabilitated, and they do it again, but they're still stupid, so they'd still inform people. Like, there's so many drunk drivers that you don't know are drunk drivers. That's worse. The drunk driving is bad. But if you're going to drunk drive, tell a lot of people. So one of the
maybe one of them will have like the decency to like either like take you home or call a cab for you or something.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like
you just like when you're drunk and stupid, you have to rely on the kindness of strangers.
Yeah, your mental facilities are bad. So like if you tell a lot of people, maybe there'll be one person that's like, this is bad, or I was affected by drunk driving in such and such way. That I'm gonna call the cops on you, and then they'd be able to, like, if they were periscoping it or whatever, streaming it, they would see like landmarks and they'd be like, oh wait, they just passed by that McDonald's that's on 3rd Street or whatever, and they'd be able to go get them. So good. It's one of those stupid criminal stories.
I mean, I guess I should clarify. I mean, yes, I'm glad she got caught. Mm-hmm. I'm just mad that someone is that stupid.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, if you're stupid enough to drink and drive, be even more stupid to tell people about it. It's like those people that like steal from a house and then they post pictures about it, if
you're gonna commit a crime, do the decent thing and tell people that you're doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. Tell as many people as possible. Not all your friends, and
we would have caught a lot more serial killers in this country if they were just more forthcoming with their deeds.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I would think like serial killers like in successive generations are gonna be more tech savvy and want to be like have that glory. So a lot more will be caught. Like olden days, like serial killers were all secretive about their stuff, or like did like ciphers and like coded messages and stuff like that.
They never suspect the man with the ice cream truck in his driveway.
But yeah, so the future is going to be a weird place. I don't know. Not all of it bad. I'm gonna say that I don't think I would be one of those people that like hate the younger generation, even though there's some things about this younger generation I don't like the music, but I think that's just a product of me not growing up with it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I understand why they like it, but I just don't like it. That's me. Like I don't think I'd be vocal like to their faces. Like, you're bad because you listen to this music. I'm just saying you're different. You're
dumb and your face is dumb and your music's dumb.
Like how our parents' generation like would say that about us. Like, yeah, you're dumb because you listen to Linkin Park or something like that. Like, you're bad.
Not to alienate our audience, but they're not that great.
Linkin Park's fine.
Not that great. I didn't say they were bad. I just said they're not that great.
They're fine.
Their first 2 albums were good, but that's not saying a whole lot considering their second album was just a remix of the first one.
Yeah, well, I
actually enjoyed a lot more.
Like they're, I don't much like remixes that much, but yeah, like Linkin Park, like when that first Linkin Park thing, like when like the older generation would say like that's bad music, like that. I don't think I would be that way. I don't know.
I mean, it was like, growing up, my dad, he was a big into rock and roll, not so much Beatles, but more Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, a lot of older bands. I think Cinderella was another one. You actually have a vinyl of a band called Rat.
Yeah, Round and Round.
He was a big fan of. And growing up, it was just one of those things. I think I heard it so much that I just got really annoyed with it. And, I think I was probably maybe 9 or 10 when Eminem first came out. And he had this big, controversy, whatnot. And I think that was kind of when I started, like, listening to, like, rap music a bit, was just to be like, oh, well, you have this crap on all the time. Well, this is what I'm going to listen to. But, I mean, I eventually kind of grew out of it. Now, I listen to almost everything nowadays. New stuff, I'm not much of a radio listener. I have the music I like on either
your devices,
my Zune or my phone. But, I mean, recently I've been listening to old Tony Hawk soundtracks from the games. I mean, those have a lot of older punk and rap songs on there that are actually really, really good. They're, say what you want about the games, but they have fantastic soundtracks.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's just one of those things. The older generations just need to get over themselves. Every generation thinks their generation is the best.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they also take for granted, not so much take for granted, but they assume, the older generations assume the younger ones don't appreciate things that came before them. From someone that looking at me might not think, oh, he doesn't know Led Zeppelin, he doesn't listen to anything like that. It's just this whole idea of you're younger, you must not have. Like, you don't have the same taste I did when I was your age, so you must be a bad person.
Yeah.
Or, but I mean, hey, talk to people. You might be surprised at what what people are into, some people are into some really weird stuff, but
Yeah. But I mean, the cultural type thing, it's always changing. The older generations are used to the things that they were used to growing up, and it's just things evolve, and you just got to deal with it. And yeah, I always hate when old people talk bad about the younger generation.
You hear that, old people? Deal with it.
Yeah, well, no. And there was this like a commencement address by Stephen Colbert at some college, and he's like, you don't owe the older generation anything. And that always, whenever I think of, like, whenever there's something new that, like, older people are saying that's bad about the younger generation, I always think of that. It's like, who cares what you think? You're old. You're gonna die. Like, I know it's harsh. It's harsh, but
well, no, I mean,
like, this is gonna be our world. And
I get that, and I mean, in a lot of ways, I mean, we're not old by any stretch of the imagination, but in a lot of ways, this isn't even our world anymore.
Yeah, it's
it's just gonna take another 20, 30 years for us to fully realize that. Midlife crisis and all that.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways,
on the way. We'll be on the way out.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, this isn't our world anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of in the flux thing right now. Like, we're not teenagers anymore, but we're not old people yet, and we're not like game changers in the world. So we're like in that flux age right now. Not yet. World, better listen to this.
I mean, we talked about it at the beginning, being born in the 90s, millennial, sort of coming of age in the at the turn of the century. Is that right?
Turn of the century. Yeah.
Yeah. Coming of age in the turn of the century, you know. It's one of those things, like, you can say to the newer generations, like, we had to pay our dues. Like, we had to sit through dial-up, you know, go through all this crap.
That's what it's going to be like. That'll be our, like, walk 2 miles uphill both ways to school.
Like,
That'll be
I
our...
had to use dial-up.
Yeah.
Whenever someone called, I got kicked off the internet.
We couldn't... You and your whippersnappers with your gigabit like internet speeds, we had to
14 billion gigabit internet.
We had 56K. That was our... We had to wait minutes to connect to our websites.
Yeah. Even though I didn't get my porn off the internet, I got it. I didn't get it out of a magazine.
We got it off of Playboy.
Before they stopped printing nudes in 2015.
But Grandpa, we're reading Playboy in elementary school. Like,
shut up.
Get off my yard.
And then you realize that you're
Grandpa,
just on
it's a virtual yard. You can make us get off by clicking and dragging. Ah.
And then you just take off the virtual reality and like, ah.
You take off the virtual glasses and it's just barren, apocalyptic wasteland. I don't know how to work.
But yeah, we're just in that weird area of we've paid our dues when it comes to new tech in a lot of ways, and now, like, I think people of our generation feel like we've sat through all this, like, not necessarily wars or anything like that. I mean, Iraq and Afghanistan, not really wars, so to speak.
Well, we haven't. I mean, there's people in our generation that have gone through those wars, and we salute them. But
it's a political matter. But anyway, but we think we've paid our dues as far as, like, new technology because we thought, 2000 new stuff is just going to come flying, falling out of the sky, and it's been very slow. I mean, it's starting to pick up now, just as our nieces, nephews, or in some cases our generation's kids are going to be getting all this, like, crazy awesome tech, like
things
right
that
out
would have been
like right out of the womb. They're going to be experiencing things that we thought we would have already had.
Yeah.
At this point in time.
Yeah, and we'll be, like things, just like cell phones. I mean, we were growing up just as cell phones were kind of coming around. I mean, starting getting good. There were cell phones before us, like in the 80s. There were like the brick
like
phones,
big box phones.
But like cell phones just started.
Cars.
Like modern smartphones were just kind of coming out as we were growing up, and I mean, like high school age, like that's when smartphones were kind of the big thing. Like not just cell phones, but connected smartphones.
Yeah, and I mean, like I mentioned before, I didn't have an actual cell phone until I was like 19 or 20. I didn't even have a phone in high school until I was like till I graduated.
Yeah, I think it was
I think I got a cell phone when I started college.
I think it was my senior year when I got my phone. Senior, or maybe a junior in high school. Like it was the last years of high school when I actually got a phone, like the Razor. I got the Razor phone whenever that was out. And that was my phone for a while, and then it was college until I actually got a smartphone. So and I mean, and that's just how it is. Like it'll be just like Grandpa, we use our mind implant to make phone calls now, or whatever it would be. And it's like in our old days we had phones that you had to actually physically open and dial and things like that. So
just swipe and use swipe to dial.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like I said, it's gonna be cool to see, but I hope that I'm not one of those people that think the young generation is bad because we've made it easy for them. I don't know.
Nah.
Hope not. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm not one of those old people that constantly berate and.
Well, I mean that's up to you. How much you berate children once you get older.
Well, no, I mean, but it's kind of like their prerogative.
Unless it's like a court order or something, like you can't berate children anymore, Mr. Hughes.
I mean, but or complain.
like, I thought I would have had this like 15 gig package downloaded already. It's been like 3 seconds. Like,
Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Like
you don't even know the you don't
yeah,
even know, man.
I think it would be lesser in this generation because we've kind of grown up with technology. We kind of know more about it. It's
like,
not something
like we
new.
know more or less know the pitfalls of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just that this newer technology like tablets and stuff. Like it was completely unknown to like our older, like our grandparents' generation.
Yeah.
Like they didn't know anything about this stuff, so they see it and it's just completely mysterious to us, to them, and they just don't understand it. But I think unless there's a weird shift in technology that we know nothing about, which possibly it could be, like we don't know what the future technology is going to be, so it could get like that. Like they like if they just like got like this little rock and they're like, this is the newest thing, it makes life so much easier. Like we couldn't even fathom that because we know nothing about that. Like we couldn't, like we don't understand any of it. It's like, oh, like that rock that shoots lasers out, why is that so cool? That's nothing like what we had. That's when I guess I be that crotchety old guy complaining about whippersnappers.
I don't know. I mean, as far as like older generations using tech, I mean, my granddad uses a tablet, but I mean, I think he just uses it as I think it's a Nook, so he just primarily uses, because he reads a lot, and I think he just primarily uses it as a e-reader, sort of thing.
Yeah, so it's I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work, but I don't not like I like where technology is going. Like that's the thing. I'm not afraid of it.
You should be afraid of technology.
I'm not. Every time there's a story about like robots gaining a new function, I'm just like, cool, that's cool.
You're gonna be afraid when the toaster comes and stabs you with stuff.
You're the one that brought a toaster into this apartment.
Because we needed a toaster.
We don't need a toaster.
We needed a toaster.
Toaster's gonna stab you.
Toaster's gonna stab you. You know,
because
it doesn't stab me, so that's fine.
It's like the toaster's just watching me every time, like I just make an untoasted sandwich or something, and it's like, you're gonna die, you jerk, you're gonna die.
You know, and I'll go put a piece of bread in the toaster and be like, oh, it already came with jam on it. I love strawberry jam.
Oh no, you don't like any liquid that comes from something isn't usually a good liquid.
The toaster actually also eats people.
that coaster just. Never mind.
I mean, I'm planning on using my toaster here in a bit, and if I go put like a piece of bread in it, and it comes out like wet or something, then I would think that there's a problem. I'm gonna have to contact the manufacturer, and be like, hey man, I just bought this thing like a month ago, and I put a piece of bread in there, and it came out wet. Like I thought it was supposed to be the opposite of this.
Seems your toaster has evolved, and that's actually its.
You've actually voided the warranty. Click.
It inseminated your toast. That's actually reproductive fluid.
Oh no! You didn't buy the toaster. You bought a soaker.
Yeah, it changed. It may have started out as a toaster, but then
around
this time it changes into a soaker. So it's exactly what it's supposed to do. No refund.
Because you like soggy bread, right? Exactly what you...
Did you not read the fine print of the instructions?
People love soggy bread. Isn't that a thing? I don't know. It's like soggy bread is just one of the weirdest things.
It depends. I don't know. Depends on the thing. Like there's this thing called like...
now,
like if you put like bread...
if it's like an open-faced sandwich or like a horseshoe, I'm totally for that. Have you ever had a horseshoe? Go get yourself a horseshoe.
What is it? Like I know what horseshoes are for like horses.
Well, it's a big thing in the Midwest. It's basically a piece of bread, and then they put depends on where you go, but it's some kind of meat. Like traditionally, it's a hamburger that they put on it, and then curly fries on top of that, and then cheese sauce on top of that. And it's just called a horseshoe.
No, I've.
An open-faced sandwich. Like, and there's a lot of restaurants where you can go get like an open-faced roast beef sandwich where it's based bread, meat, and then gravy on top of it.
And then you just eat it with like a fork and knife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a breakfast food here where it's like bread and then you just put like gravy and meat on it, I forgot what it's called.
Open face sandwich.
Yeah. Well, I've never heard
soggy
of it.
bread is fine unless it's like soggy bread like that is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just like water and like
yeah, no, that's gross. Well, I mean, that's how all the people that eat like in those hot dog competitions, they soak it in water and eat it.
I think I would like throw up just because I'd be like, it's so
well,
gross.
I mean, I don't know. It's their job. Like they're getting paid. Like I would if I was
like,
if I was in one of those
it's my
competitions.
job.
If I was in one of those competitions and there was like $50,000 in it, I would do it.
Well,
like
if
if
eat
that's
it like it's your job.
like yeah. I mean, if it's gross. Like if you were eating recreationally, like if you were eating just in the real world and you're just dipping your thing, that'd be weird.
Did that guy just dip his bread in water?
Yeah, because that's bad. Like you'd eat a hot dog regularly. But yeah. So I don't know. We got a couple tangents been going on for too long. Anything else you want to bring up? Anything you've watched or that you'd want to suggest?
I mean, I watched He-Man and the Master of the Universe. I can't exactly recommend it or suggest it to anybody, unless you really just feel like having some noise on.
Like the live action? Or
yeah, the live
cartoon?
action with Dolph Lundgren and Courtney Cox.
Yeah, I never saw it. It was old whenever I was young, so I've never wanted to watch it.
I mean, it's got like 2.5 stars on Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a ratings kind of guy or gal.
Like if you want to,
if you feel like wasting 2 hours of your life, go for it.
I've been watching Impractical Jokers. It's a show on True TV where these four friends like prank each other and like do stupid challenges and stuff like that, and it's pretty funny. I recommend that. I have like binge watched like. They're on their 4th season. I've been watched and I'm almost caught up now, like starting like a week ago. So I recommend that. It's pretty funny. So, but yeah, so
and don't forget, I know it leaked already, but CBS's premiere of Supergirl is either tonight or tomorrow. It's very soon.
Yeah, so we'll see. I saw the leaked pilot. I did, and cheesy. That's what I'm going with. I'm going with cheesy. They left it. The pilot episode leaves it really open to what they're gonna do, and how they're gonna play out the series. So maybe it'll get better. But first episode I thought was cheesy. Unfortunately, I don't know. Gotham is still going strong. So if you want to watch a DC property live action TV show, I'd go with Gotham.
Well, I mean, Arrow and Flash are DC properties too.
If you're a tween girl, you can watch Arrow. That's but yeah, Flash is good. Gotham's better. Gotham's my favorite DC.
We'll probably cut this part out.
No, never. Why? We talked like tween thing. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I just think I don't know. I'm just thinking about banter as far as time goes.
That's fine. Who cares? Some people might be interested. They could be like thinking about something to watch. Who knows? But yeah, that's gonna be our episode. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Oh, and also D Scott C, I think is his new Twitter handle. David, who hosted with us on one show,
has a personal Twitter now.
Yes, he has a personal Twitter now. He also still has his Travel Red Class Twitter. He will not be with us for the next month or so, but be sure to follow him on his travels as he is in London, England at the moment.
That's cool.
And he will be posting content as he goes along his trip across Europe and parts beyond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's all Travel Red Class, Thinking Outside the Pod are all part of the Illogical network. So if you go to illogical.com, you'll be able to find all the links to all that stuff there.
Absolutely.
And all the articles that we post when we post them. It's slow going now, but we're getting there. So definitely check us out, though. That's where you'll find this podcast information. So, but yeah, that's it. That is episode 87 of Thinking Outside the Pod. We'll be back next Monday with the newest episode. Bye.